Hiya! Welcome! In this video today, I'm gonna show you 10 CDs, 10 albums. I think a couple of them have DVDs included. And if you are still confused by the title of the video, this is me finally adding to my Bushido collection. So before I go any further, I probably need to explain to most of you who Bushido is. He's a German rapper. I've been a big fan of his for a fair few years now. I think I discovered him kind of by accident on a YouTube video recommendation maybe 5 or 6 years ago now, possibly more. I've got quite an affinity with various German music artists, and I do like certain hip-hop and rap music, but I never really thought I'd get into German rap, really. But Bushido is fantastic. He's been going since, I think, the early 2000s. That's at least when he started having chart hits in his native Germany. And he's had #1 albums and top 10 singles over there. Unsurprisingly, he's not done anything here in the UK. I've got a bit of Bushido on vinyl in my collection. There isn't an awful lot that's out, and a lot of what has come out on vinyl is just way beyond my price range, really. So what I thought I would do, I would fill some of the CD gaps in my Bushido collection, and there was a lot of gaps because up until today I'd only got 2 box sets which have vinyl in them. I won't go into them, I would have covered them on the channel some years ago. And also his most recent studio album, which I did show on Records Roundup a couple of months or so back. These are in no particular order of chronology, but they are in order of where I got them from. And I will start with 2 albums, 2 CDs from a site in Germany, unsurprisingly, called recordsale.de. I think I'd used them before for something, but God knows what it was. It could have been years ago, because when I went to have a look at Bushido CDs on there, I thought I need to create an account. I was able to sign into it, so I bought something from there once upon a time. I just can't remember what it was. And I will apologise just this once, and then let's move on from it, for any terrible German pronunciation. Also, this will hopefully be a pretty short video by my standards, as I can't really talk about the tracks. Some of it I will have heard on YouTube and what have you, but the majority of this stuff I'm coming in blind, really. And one more thing before I finally show you what the first album is. Bushido is an artist who I just can't play any clips on YouTube. I really wish I could. And I do urge people to do a search for him on here or on whatever streaming service that you may use for your music, as I think he's exceptional and he's become one of my very favourite rappers of all time. Right then, back to business. The first album here to show you is one called Staatsfeind Nummer 1. So this is a studio album, and the year is, it's about 2006, I think. I should have put my glasses on, really, but you live and learn. Features a few of his contemporary German hip-hop artists of the time. I couldn't tell you whereabouts in the chronology, i.e. is it the 5th studio album, the 3rd, the 8th, or whatever. All I know is it's one of many that I need, and the 10 I'm going to show you today is by no means an exhaustive. I've completed the Bushido library, there's still plenty more to get. So there may well be a follow-up to this video if people want. Otherwise, if I'm just getting his work in dribs and drabs, I will no doubt show future Bushido albums on Records Roundup. But that is Staatsfeind Nummer 1. This next one isn't actually credited to Bushido at all. It's a collaborative album between Bushido and another German rapper, Sido, or it could be pronounced Sido, I'm not sure. I'm familiar with one of the tracks on here, which is fantastic, but the act, the duo, were credited as 23 in English, but in German it will be
23.
Sido, Obviously, I know him certainly from one of the tracks on here, but he's not someone I've investigated any of his solo stuff or anything like that. But I may do one day. So that was 23, and the rest of the stuff now is from various Discogs sellers. So we've got a wrapped couple of CDs here. Oh, wrapped, I just realised here. None of these were expensive, by the way. I think out of everything here, the most expensive CD was around the €10 mark, and there's some here that I know are only a couple of euro or so. Trying to remember why I didn't unwrap this properly when this first came in the post a few days ago. First one from this seller is Mythos. This is a relatively recent studio album, I think. I say relatively recent, I want to say around 2018, 2019, could be a little earlier than that actually. This is quite a rare edition actually, at least on Discogs, as it's a 2 CD set with, oh, bit of protective bubble wrap there, with the instrumental version of the album included. And this version, there was only one seller, and he even said in the description it was rare, and he was selling it for a good price though. As I say, it wouldn't have been any more than about €10 this. Where possible here, I have just been getting kind of the cheapest standard CDs that I can find for Bushido. I'm not too interested in bonus discs and DVDs included and special editions and things like that, but some of the special, more limited editions were still going for cheap, so I ended up getting them. So it's kind of a mixed bag really, but that is Mythos. Another collaborative album here. This one is not with Sido, it's with another rapper from Germany, Shindy, and this is Classic. Oh, now then, I've just noticed the case is a little bit scratched up. I think I remember this being advertised as not being in mint condition, or near mint I suppose. You'd have to class it as a pre-owned CD, but it's fine, I'm not bothered. I just wanted the album as cheap as possible. It's got some tour dates in there. Shindy, bit like Sido, I know of him. I don't think I've heard any of his work or even any of his collaborations with Bushido from this album, but glad to have that. I'm not sure who the lady is on the front. Alright, before we get to mail opening, there is 3 that also came only a couple of days ago from another German Discog seller. I did have taxes to pay, not for the recordsale.de pickups, as taxes were included, it being like a website sale, but Discogs you do have to see the price shoot up as soon as they add the taxes on. Anyway, this one is not a studio album, it's a live album, this one. These 3 have been sealed in the previous owner's own cellophane, by the way. 2 CD sets here. I think both CDs are live as far as I remember, and it is Deutschland, gib mir ein Mic, which I believe translates to Germany, give me the mic. I'll take these out of the adhesive cellophane, as I'd only take them out and throw those out when I was listening to them anyway. 2 discs. Oh, we've got a advert for some merchandise in there. Just show you that page quickly. As I say, I'm not trying to spend too long on this video. A, because I can't really talk about the music and give it its full due attention and credit. And B, I don't even know how interesting this video is going to be to people. Hopefully there'll be some of you out there just kind of watching out of morbid curiosity, if nothing else. Now, a lot of this stuff is from the 2000s, and then there's some from the 2010s. There again, I'm struggling to see the year, but that looks like 2006 on the copyright information for Deutschland, gib mir ein Mic. And then we have this one, which on the cover says VDS ZBZ, and if I can find the full title of this, I know I'm going to struggle to pronounce it, but it is a Bushido solo studio album, and it is Von der Skyline zum Bordstein zurück. I think one of his earlier albums, which I don't have, and it's one that I'm aiming to pick up at some point soon. Maybe his first or second studio album was called Von der Skyline, and this is Von der Skyline and the rest of it. So this might be kind of like a sequel to that album, but this was the certainly later one than that. Do you like some of these cases here? Well, they kind of mostly resemble your standard CD jewel cases. You know, they've got these nice rounded edges here. There again, I think the booklet advertises previous releases and maybe a bit of merchandise as well. Yep, just a one discer, that one. And then last one from this seller. I was really pleased to find this. I think this was only like €3. I can't remember how much the last one was, but I think the live album, which is a 2-discer, that was about €2, I think, which seems an absolute bargain, excluding taxes, of course. But this one is Das Best, and it's, surprisingly to me, the only Bushido Greatest Hits compilation that's come out so far, at least to the best of my knowledge. This one also has a DVD in it, and as I said before, I wasn't looking for bonus disc editions generally. I just wanted the albums, but I kind of like the fact that I've got the DVD here because it's going to have all the promo videos on, and I have watched a fair few Bushido promos on YouTube over the years. That's really, you know, how I got into him. Once again, a lot of shilling for other things there. Ringtones, I think that might be. God dear, that's an old mobile phone that's pictured on there. This will go up to 2007. This was released, so it's not exactly comprehensive in relation to his work post 2007. I think all the majority of his hits and best known tracks are on this album, and then we get the promo videos of them on the DVD. So I'm very happy to have got that. That would have been kind of first on my list really, even though the studio albums, there's a lot of them, including the collaborations and everything. I just think that's a nice thing where a lot of his work is collected. Alright, mail opening to finish with. So this has come from, you guessed it, Germany. Another Discog seller. This one should also have 3 albums in it. This stuff is, I would say, near impossible to buy from within the UK. If you go on Discogs, you know, it's all Germany, Austria, some from Switzerland, Netherlands, maybe Belgium and France as well. I think he's got a bit of an audience there. Anyway, last 3 albums. This one is 7, I think, or it won't be 7, it'll be 7. So this, I think, was called 7 because it was his 7th studio album. I think this has got one of my favourite tracks of his on, if I can find it. It's quite difficult to read this text without glasses on because it's done in this sort of scratched style. Alles Verloren is on here. I said I wasn't going to talk about any of the tracks because it's just going to bog me down really, and I can't to any great extent. Another booklet which you can see it's going to be advertising merchandise. Knows how to sell himself and his product, does Bushido here. But that is 7 or 7. Next is another studio album. Did it come before or after 7? I'm not sure, but it's called Heavy Metal Payback. Any tracks on here that I know? I don't think there is. See, even though I've considered myself a fan of this guy for a long time now, there's so much of his work I'm yet to hear, and even with these 10 CDs here, that's still a drop in the ocean really. I've plenty more to buy, plenty more to discover for the very first time. A Heavy Metal Payback, again with these nice rounded edge CD cases that seem to be a lot more common in mainland Europe than they ever were over here. And once again, he's wanting you to buy stuff. So there we go. And the final one is another special edition actually. The album is Zeiten anden Dich. And this is the edition that's got a bonus DVD with it, which I wasn't particularly wanting, but this was cheap from the same seller. I can't remember how much. Another studio album, but if we get into this somehow... Oh, there we go. It wasn't complicated. There's the DVD. So the DVD on here, which I will watch, I mean, it's going to be in the German language, and I doubt it'll have English subtitles, you never know, but I'm guessing not. But the DVD has a making of kind of featurette or mini documentary, an interview, a gallery, so presumably photos from a shoot, and one promo video which may be replicated on that best of DVD earlier. Alles wir gut. And that is it. That is 10 Bushido albums. There's like 8 of his studio albums here, certainly if you include the 2 collaborative albums with Shindy and Sido, and there's a live 2-discer and the best of as well, which I'm really looking forward to hearing. I'm looking forward to hearing it all, obviously. I'll be mixing all this up with my other non-German rap content that I've been collecting over the past few weeks. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. This video does seem to have gone on a little longer than I intended, but I was showing 10 albums there, and you know me, why say it in 2 words when I can say it in 22? Special thanks go to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna start listening to all this good stuff from Bushido here, and I'm gonna try and sort it all out into some sort of chronological order. Not that it matters if I listen to it chronologically, but it will help me kind of file it away, and then also it'll help me determine what I've still got left to buy. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next CD collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!